Case file number 1. Broken Laws. The summoning of Judge Daniel Khan. Professor Daniel Khan had finally surrendered to sleep. After 12 hours of lecturing constitutional law to half-awake undergrads, the scholar collapsed into his recliner and let exhaustion pull him under. His apartment was quiet, too quiet, the kind of silence that feels padded, like the world is holding its breath. Then boom, a sound like a cathedral door slamming open echoed through his dream. Daniel jerked upright. His gavel, the one he kept locked in a glass case, was suddenly in his hand. Warm, pulsing, as if it had a heartbeat of its own. The room dimmed, the shadows thickened, and from the corner, a figure materialized. His ghostly bailiff, tall, hollow-eyed, wearing the uniform he died in decades ago. The badge still gleamed, but the bullet hole over his heart never stopped bleeding smoke. The bailiff bowed his head. "Your Honor, you are needed." Daniel swallowed hard. "Where?" The ghost's voice crackled like old radio static. "The Badlands. A vampire has gone rogue. It has broken the old laws. Judgment must be delivered." Before Daniel could speak, the bailiff dissolved, sucked backward into the dark like a candle flame in a storm. The gavel throbbed in Daniel's hand. A whisper curled around him, ancient and cold. Case number 1. Broken Laws. The floor beneath him split open into a corridor of wind and dust, stretching toward the Badlands. And the judge stepped forward. In a land forgotten by time, where the very wind holds its breath, a new era is about to begin. This is Daniel Khan, not just a man, but an arbiter of realms unseen, holding a gavel of immense power. With each pulse of his gavel, the very earth responds, a silent testament to the forces he commands. He raises his hand, a signal to the ancient powers that slumber beneath the dust. The court is about to be called. A single, resonant tap. The sound echoes through the void, and the world itself begins to reshape. Pale blue fire erupts from the fissures, tracing intricate patterns across the barren ground. A new reality unfolds. From the swirling dust, pillars rise, sculpted by unseen hands, reaching towards a sky that is no longer familiar. Translucent walls and grand arches materialize, forming a majestic, yet eerie, courtroom. A place of judgment. The supernatural courtroom stands complete, a testament to powers beyond mortal comprehension, ready for its purpose. These walls are not stone, but solidified desert wind, swirling like ancient spirits, holding secrets within their depths. Above, a dome of alien starlight illuminates the chamber, casting long shadows and revealing cosmic truths. From the earth, a bench of polished obsidian emerges, awaiting the one who will preside over the supernatural. Spectral seats fill with silent observers, silhouettes of those who have witnessed countless judgments across time. A cold gust sweeps through the chamber, signaling the arrival of an ancient presence. The ghostly bailiff flickers into existence, a translucent figure, ready to serve the court. With a voice like rustling leaves, the bailiff confirms, "The court is assembled, Your Honor." Daniel nods, a subtle acknowledgement of the gravity of the moment, his throat tightening with anticipation. Unseen hands gently lift a wounded young man from the desert floor, placing him upon the witness stand. His wounds glow faintly, a testament to the supernatural harm he has endured, his expression desperate. He begins his testimony, a hushed, pained whisper. He feeds without sanction. He hunts for pleasure. He broke the covenant. A low, rumbling murmur ripples through the spectral court. A shadow peels from the far corner of the courtroom, growing, taking form. It reveals a tall, lean rogue vampire, eyes burning red, a smirk playing on his lips, fangs glinting. He addresses Daniel, "Judge Khan, the new arbiter. I wondered when they'd send you." The gavel in Daniel's hand grows heavier, its pulse intensifying with a subtle hum. Chains of pure moonlight snap around the vampire's wrists and ankles, binding him without resistance. The ghostly bailiff turns to Daniel, his translucent form a beacon of expectation. The entire chamber, spirits, stars, shadows fall silent, awaiting Daniel's words. The bailiff announces, "Your Honor." The court recognizes case number 1, broken laws. The accused stands ready for judgment. The air crackles with anticipation. Daniel Kahn, now the judge of the Deadlands, stands ready for his first trial. The fate of the supernatural world hangs in the balance as justice is finally served. This is the moment where Daniel Kahn stops being a man and becomes something the monsters whisper about. His first invocation of supernatural legal authority needs to feel ancient, terrifying, and righteous. The courtroom of dust and starlight held his breath. The rogue vampire smirked in his moonlight chains. The wounded witness trembled. The ghostly bailiff stood at rigid attention. Daniel Kahn felt the gavel grow heavier, impossibly heavy, as if the weight of every judgment pressed into his palm. He swallowed, then he raised the gavel. The air shivered. A voice, not his, not human, whispered through the chamber, "Invoke the law." Daniel felt something ancient coil up his spine, threading through his nerves, filling his lungs. His eyes burned with a faint blue glow. He spoke, but it wasn't just his voice. It was layered, human, spectral, cosmic, echoing like a verdict. By the authority of the old code, by the covenant written before the first dawn, this court is now in session. The ground trembled. The pillars of dust solidified into stone. The stars above rearranged themselves into the sigil of judgment. The vampire's smirk faltered. Daniel lowered the gavel to his side. A ring of blue fire erupted around him, humming with runes. Each rune represented a law older than any mortal civilization. The bailiff bowed deeply. "Your Honor has invoked the first authority." Daniel didn't know what that meant, but the court did. The court approved. The rogue vampire tried to straighten, to regain his arrogance, but the chains tightened. He hissed, fangs bared. "Careful, Judge. Power like that, it changes you." Daniel's voice remained steady, though his heart thundered. "You stand accused of violating the covenant, feeding without sanction, taking life for pleasure, not survival." The court murmured, a sound like 1,000 unseen jurors shifting in their seats. The vampire snarled, "I broke your law because your law is broken." The chamber gasped. Even the shadows recoiled. Daniel tightened his grip on the gavel. The runes flared. The bailiff stepped forward, voice booming, "Order in the court." Silence fell like a guillotine. Daniel lifted the gavel again, feeling the old code pulse through him, waiting for his next command. This was no longer a dream, no longer a summons. This was his first true act as judge, and the Badlands watched.
You just opened the door to the rhythm of the supernatural justice system. No rest, no pause, no mercy. Case number 1 barely settles. The dust hasn't even finished falling. Already the universe is calling for the judge again. Case file number 2, the summons of ash and iron, delivered the moment Daniel's gavel falls. The courtroom of starlight and dust was still vibrating from Daniel's ruling. The rogue vampire lay on the floor, gasping, hollowed out by the binding of thirst. The witness slumped in relief. The ghostly bailiff stood at attention, waiting for the judge's next command. Daniel lowered the gavel. For one heartbeat, the Badlands were silent. Then, crack! A fissure tore open in the air above the courtroom, splitting the starlit dome like a lightning bolt. Sparks rained down, sizzling as they hit the spectral floor. The bailiff stiffened. "Your Honor." Another summons. Daniel barely had time to inhale. The fissure widened, twisting into a burning sigil, a circle of ash, iron, and red fire. The symbol pulsed like a heartbeat, ancient and angry. The court reacted instantly. Even the vampire, weakened and bound, whispered, "No, not them." A voice boomed from the fissure, deep, metallic, echoing like a war drum. "Judge Kahn, case file 2, you are required." Daniel's gavel flared white-hot in his hand. The bailiff stepped forward, voice low, almost fearful. "Your Honor, this summons comes from the Iron Tribunal." Daniel frowned. "Iron Tribunal?" The bailiff's ghostly eyes flickered. They only call when a creature breaks a law tied to war, blood oaths, or ancient weapons. This is no simple case. The sigil pulsed again, louder, angrier. A bound weapon has been unleashed, a forbidden one. The courtroom shook so violently that dust rained from the starlit dome. The vampire laughed weakly, bitterly. You thought a rogue vampire was your warm-up. Judge, you have no idea what's waking up out there. Daniel tightened his grip on the gavel. The sigil flared one final time, then spoke the words that sealed the next trial. Case number 2, the weapon that should not exist. The vortex of ash and iron opened beneath Daniel's feet. The court dissolved around him. The Badlands howled, and the judge was pulled into his next nightmare.
Welcome to Sinister Dreams. If you want more twisted stories, comment, like, subscribe, and share, because if you don't, well, I might just visit your dreams tonight and tell me where you're tuning in from. I love knowing where my nightmares travel.